Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. The 1980s may be 6 feet under, but the decade is not entirely forgotten. The fashion of the times was ridiculous, but fortunately the science fiction of the time had longer lasting taste. And without delay, here is today's top 5 1980s sci-fi movies you need to see.
Part 3.
Number 5, Invaders from Mars, 1986. I don't know why I never picked up on this Tobe Hooper gem. There aren't chainsaws or secondhand face masks. Instead, the young David Gardner finds himself in an invasion of the body snatchers situation. His dream of seeing a UFO comes true when one lands just over yonder that hill. And one by one, his family, his teacher, and friends are possessed by the aliens. The walls of his community close in, and he fears that he's next to be taken.
There is something over the hill.
What?
Come on. I'll show you.
No, Dad.
And to prevent that from happening, he needs to keep outsmarting and outrunning these goddamn Martians. His teacher, Mrs. McKelch, David's biology and French cuisine teacher, bon appétit, first tries to lure David to the hills. And this doesn't work, so she has to resort to face wrestling. David, after many close calls with McKelch, finally convinces the school nurse, Linda Magnuson, that McKelch and his parents are under the control of alien invaders. It's undeniable. The Martians are here. As they are swept up in the act of surviving, the movie really hits a fun and exciting stride. Hooper portrays David's childhood fears with deft attention. Nowhere is safe. With their asses pressed up against the wall, David is struck by inspiration. They need to state their case to Colonel Rinaldi at the base where his father works for NASA. Surprisingly skeptical at first, the general has the proof he needs and mobilizes the entire fighting force to siege David's family home and the catacombs hiding the Martians. But fuck me Jesus, this third act drags like a mother trucker. It's an impressive show of military personnel and materiel, but the third act pretty much drops like a stone. And that's rather unfortunate, despite its Starship Troopers moxie and the fact that Dan O'Bannon was the co-writer of Invaders from Mars, but that third act just goes on far too long. The aliens are just plain stupid looking, goofy like the critters from, well, you know, Critters. But at least the ending folds back into the darkness of the first two acts. No happy endings as David's nightmare returns with a vengeance. Tough break, kid. Number 4, Batteries Not Included, 1987. In Batteries Not Included, a group of tenants in a crumbling urban apartment building find their lives transformed by the arrival of tiny alien robots known as Fix-Its. Directed by Matthew Robbins and produced by Steven Spielberg, it's nothing short of a heartwarming sci-fi gem imparting the story of a community struggling to save their homes from ruthless developers. The Fix-Its, with their incredible ability to repair broken objects, bring not only hope to the tenants but also a sense of unity and purpose that has long been missing in their lives. And the film brilliantly balances its whimsical premise with deeper themes of resilience and redemption, and living in a war zone. What makes this movie truly special is its ensemble cast, led by the iconic Hume Cronyn and Jessica Tandy as Frank and Faye Riley, an elderly couple fighting to preserve both their diner and their memories. Each tenant, from the struggling artist Mason to a reclusive ex-boxer Harry, finds their personal struggles mirrored in the building's decay. The Fix-Its not only restore the physical structure, but also repair the fractured relationships among the tenants. With a perfect blend of comedy, drama, and Spielbergian Wunderkraft, the film captures the magic of connection and the triumph of community over greed. Batteries Not Included is more than a family-friendly sci-fi film. It's a love letter to the power of the small acts of kindness and the enduring human spirit when living in a complete shithole. Yeah, this movie's totally feel-good, there's nothing dangerous about it, and the charming design of the Fix-Its and the emotional performances make it a movie that resonates across generations, especially with the younger audience. And whether you're drawn to its heartfelt story, its quirky humor, or its fantastical elements, this 1980s classic reminds us that even in our darkest moments, hope can arrive in the most unexpected ways, with little robots and that don't require batteries. Put it on your Christmas family watching list. Number 3, The Brother from Another Planet, 1984. Coming to America is a dream for some, and for others it's a living nightmare. It was particularly bad for this brother who unwittingly became an illegal alien in New York City during the 1980s, crash landing next to the Ellis Island Immigration Center. Hey, nice touch. Hey, I'm walking over here. Sort of like Chance from the movie Being There. Brother doesn't fail upward the hierarchy, but he does profoundly affect his newfound friends in Harlem, quickly earning notoriety as an arcade video game Jesus.
The brother fixed it.
But unlike Chance, who is the unwitting recipient of unearned admiration, Brother earns his respect honestly. Thankfully, because being there amidst the humans takes a terrible toll on him, for he has many abilities. The most distressing is experiencing the emotional trauma of a person's last fatal moments.
That's the seat McVeigh was sitting on the night Percy Williams shot him.
And the goodwill of his friends endangers their well-being. It so happens that Brother escaped indenturement by intergalactic slave traders, who hunt him down throughout the film. Dressed like Mibs and kicking ass in the process. But when a gaggle of locals come to the Brother's defense, they defeat the Mibs. But are these people emancipated aliens like the Brother? I kind of think so. What do you think? The Brother from Another Planet checks a lot of boxes and not in the DEI way. It's a masterfully genuine parable and societal mirror, imbued with sage humor and impeccable performances.
I have another magic trick for you. Want to see me make all the white people disappear?
Morning upper level change from a number 1 Broadway
See?
train.
What'd I tell you?
And I suppose it's worth noting that The Brother from Another Planet is worlds apart from the blaxploitation genre. This low-budget gem gets a hearty thumbs up from me. Number 2, Killer Klowns from Outer Space, 1988. There's a sucker born every minute. And for the citizenry of Crescent Cove, they just got their death certificates. The big top lands on the outskirts of town, startling country bumpkin Gene Green, played by the consummate character actor with a righteous name, Royal Dano, who's convinced that he's witnessed Halley's Comet crashing in the forest. Drunk on moonshine dreams of riches, he and his trusted pooch Pooh Bear tromp off into the woods. Instead of treasure, they find terror. Pooh is snatched by a butterfly net and Gene meets his saccharine demise, harvested into a cotton candy cocoon. What else did you think Killer Klowns eat? Meanwhile, the Starstreak also coitus interruptuses Debbie and Mike, who are parking at Makeout Point. Debbie's interest is piqued and drags Mike into the woods and inside the big top. To their horror, they discover Sweet Jean, Killer Klowns, and are shot at with a semi-automatic mace soufflé rifle. The clowns unleash a balloon bloodhound to track them down, but they escape into town to notify the cops. But it falls on deaf ears, especially Officer Mooney, played by the iconic John Vernon.
Killer Clowns from outer space. Holy shit.
Brushes off all this clown business as pranks with his salty tongue.
Whoop the goddamn to do. What do we have here?
But it is he who serves as the prop to his own grisly prank as a ventriloquist. Meanwhile, the clowns invade the town and canvass unsuspecting households. One almost John Wayne Gacy's an innocent little girl, and this runt terrorizes an entire motorcycle gang. For a comedy, this movie shapes up to be pretty insidious, but with a slight Tim Burton flair. The clowns have candified most of the town, collecting them in a macabre parade. All seems lost, but Officer David Hansen, Debbie's ex-boyfriend, discovers the clowns' Achilles heel. It's their nose! Shoot them right there and they dramatically explode. It's a big red exposed death button that's worthy of a Darwin Award. The action accumulates at the fairgrounds. Consisting of their goofball ice cream team, the Terenzi brothers, they engage Clownzilla and pull the plug on this three-ring circus. Killer Klowns from Outer Space is an unforgettable Chiodo brothers tour de force. Their solitary feature is brightly painted darkness. The clowns are disturbingly malevolent. The Chiodo brothers' background was in animation and special effects, which was a tremendous asset for their movie. And come on, for Christ's sakes, they worked as the principal puppeteers on Team America: World Police.
Fuck yeah!
Despite the movie's more than respectable box office returns and acknowledgement as a cult classic, a sequel was never made, but the conversation isn't quite dead yet. But talks percolated back in 2021, but the Chiodo brothers and MGM haven't sealed the deal. But the video game is performing well.
That's what you get, you bastard!
Killer Klowns may never get a redux, and it's possible that this brightly adorned macabre sci-fi comedy should remain that way. But if a sequel did happen, would the Dickies reform and record the soundtrack? Number 1, Videodrome, 1983. Directed by David Cronenberg, of course, Videodrome is a mind-bending exploration of technology, media, and the malleability of human perception. The story follows Max Wren, James Woods, an unscrupulous president of Civic TV, a sleazy cable station specializing in softcore pornography and violent programming. Always looking for the next shocking thing to boost ratings, Max discovers a mysterious pirate broadcast called Videodrome. The show depicts brutal torture and murder, all filmed in a sparse, featureless room. Intrigued by its visceral intensity, Max is determined to air it, believing it to be a staged snuff film. As Max investigates Videodrome, he begins a relationship with Nikki Brand, Debbie Harry, a radio host with a masochistic streak. Fascinated by the show's sadomasochistic content, Nikki auditions to appear on Videodrome and subsequently disappears. Disturbed and desperate for answers, Max delves deeper, only to discover that Videodrome is much more than a broadcast. It's a signal designed to induce hallucinations and brain tumors in viewers. This horrifying truth leads Max to Brian Oblivion, a media philosopher who only communicates through video recordings, and his daughter, Bianca. Brian reveals that he was involved in Videodrome's creation.
I think that massive doses of Videodrome signal will ultimately create a new outgrowth of the human brain,
but became a victim of its mind-altering effects. Bianca warns Max that Videodrome is a weapon designed to control and reshape reality itself. As the broadcast's effects warps Max's perception, he begins experiencing terrifying hallucinations, including his stomach transforming to a gaping, VCR-like slit capable of absorbing physical objects like videotapes and guns. Max learns that Videodrome is the brainchild of Spectacular Optical, a shady corporation using the signal as a tool for societal cleansing. The company's head, Barry Convex, manipulates Max into becoming an assassin, programming him to kill his business associates and potential rivals. Max's journey spirals into chaos as he struggles to discern reality from hallucination. Ultimately, he rebels against Spectacular Optical, turning their weaponized programming against them. With the encouragement of a hallucinatory Nikki, Max embraces the philosophy of Videodrome.
Long live the new flesh.
In the film's climatic scene, Max watches a video of himself committing suicide, then reenacts it in reality, completing his transformation into something beyond human, a hybrid of flesh and media. Well, boils and gargoyles, that's today's list. Sound off like you got a pair in the comments section. And what do you think? Gee, are you getting sick and tired of these list videos? In the meantime, thanks for swinging by, and if you like my content, please help out the channel by punching the like button, and share and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.